weekend is always a big storyline in the World Endurance Championship. And it's not enough to run sticker tires the entire race or through the entire race weekend. So keeping an eye on your tire allocation, maybe keeping an eye on how much you use these tires during qualifying, and maybe leaving a little like in a set or two that you can then use in the race. All of that is part of these team strategies on a given race weekend.
Corvette at the front of the queue, and if you've just got here, Corvette were very much in ascendance in GT3, in free practice 3, which I suppose is the closest to this time. As you can see, 2:50.59 it is, so in 1 minute they will go. So odds are that GM Corvette John will be at the front as we look at the Iron Days.
Yeah, it looks like it. The Corvettes, they've been getting their new, getting their team legs, like C-Night. They're getting it all figured out now. And man, what a great place to have it all culminate and win this weekend for Corvette. Wouldn't that be an amazing story?
Now, the pressure in this session is it's the bronze drivers that have to go out. It's the amateurs, although I know that's like calling TV people talent. And it's a Maury oxide sort of thing. No, what I mean is these guys maybe amateurs.
I see Ben Keating's name on that list. And he's ignored him.
And a guy like Ian James, professional, but because of his age, and we won't put a number to what you're saying there, Ian, but the FIA driving ratings, you do drop a level in your FIA driving rating at a certain age threshold, and that's why long-rated drivers serve as the upper program all of these regulation on running pro-am lineups. But not every bronze-rated driver is a premium. Some of them have class wins and 12 hours of secreting as pros to their name, like in James, for instance. Keep an eye on them. We talked earlier in the FP3 practice coverage. Aston Martin is
sports car delineation. Platinum means that you have been as high as Formula 1 or won the championship, right? World Championship. Gold is again just below that. You don't have to make
that was a perfect silver.
So he can silver. What you're looking at here on the bronze drivers considered the least potentially pro-am.
You would think that Valentino Rossi's 9 motorcycle championships would count for at least 4. Just 2 wheels to 4.
Him and Tom Christensen were swapping 9-time world champion stories with Anthony Davidson. One of the full access shows. If you haven't seen that, on YouTube. It's well worth watching.
Yeah, really good.
This is the points leading car in LMGT3 by Pure Racing. The Manthai car, I'm sure a lot of folks are familiar with it, but back to the program. Getting that car in the window, if now That costs you valuable time and maybe keeps you from getting that car in the appropriate window to try and make the top 10 and move on to hyper pole.
And if you're wondering why they're weaving from side to side, especially with the they decided to do away with time limits, and that actually has made a huge factor in terms of managing those tires and getting them up to temperature. This is where it really counts, because you've got to get up to temperature quickly, so you've got to get them up to temperature, do a quick lap, cool them down, get them back up to temperature, and they come in. Get it.
first sector was purple. It was the quickest first sector.
Within a shout of the top 10 if he can keep it together.
Figure things out. It's interesting watching the other teams get it all figured out too.
Look at how they're blowing in cold air just to keep it cool. your heart out there, folks. Imagine what it must be like on a piece of metal, which is exuding lots of people.
Well, running around on asphalt that's something 50, 40 degrees, something like that.
I spoke to Alex today. He said he and Earl Bamber were in for a pretty horrible day, his words, tomorrow, because it's just the two of them. So they have to run the entire 6 hours. So that's
different than all the other number plates, and the WRT team got a special dispensation to use a non-standard number plate in order to maintain the familiar Team 46 branding, which I'd love to see.
It's been such a breath of fresh air in every way. You know, it's just such a different situation for him where he doesn't have the pressure. Motorcycle racing, which is his first love. And you know, Anthony Davis, I saw an interview with him with Valentino Rossi, and they were talking about his testing for Formula 1.
He just got signature from the Capital team on his big prototype toy car. It's really cool.
On board with TF Sport. Now, listening to some of the drivers and getting some feedback this morning, everybody happy with the new resurface and also now the entire track, the bumps that have plagued this circuit. Well, they play every circuit, but it just seems to be more evident here. It is an interesting part of the world when it comes to shifting, should we put it that way, and hard weather. I tell you what, if it's big in Texas, so's the weather. When it rains here, boy does it rain. If it's windy, it's really windy. So yeah, this track has taken some pounding, including lightning strikes for the main grandstand.
Yeah, like me, live in Austin, you realize anything this side of I-35 in this direction towards Houston, we get a ton of rain coming in from the coast. You know, hurricane fans make it up here, but they won't make it up to Austin proper. So Coda gets a lot of abuse from Mother Nature.
Well, I've got a nice on-board lap here with TF Sport. Great corner this one. It looks as though it should drag you into the inside, but really you need to take that outside line, then come back. And that gives you all the drive to get this right.
It's a great section for side-by-side racing, the way that the corners flow together. The inside becomes the outside, becomes the inside again, and you'll see drivers crossing one another over one corner into the next, multiple corners in succession. Really love that section of track. Every time I've been here to commentate on something, it's been one of the action-packed zones. Great previous LMP1 hybrid era, which that was additive. In this case, it's really more helping with efficiency to be adding that electric power to your power output.
Absolutely road car relevant, because hybrids right now are kind of the direction that a lot of manufacturers are kind of heading back into after some electric issues
It's
in the
worth,
industry.
yeah, it's worth noting though that all the LMGT3 cars, these are entirely internal combustion engine, no hybrid technology here in this class. Although there has been some in the future, and I bet you within the next 10 years that's something we're talking about.
Well, yeah, there's cars right now, like Corvettes have a hybrid. I'm not sure multiple of these cars have hybrids. hybrid versions on the road.
The McLaren, I believe, is one where for the race car they had to change that around. And same certainly for the Acura, it is just in here. But yeah, the race car is purely internal combustion engine, but the road going car is hybrid. Yeah.
5 minutes to go then in this session, and at the moment, Hard Racing, the US team, Ian James's team, is leading the way. So great thing now.
Still third fastest. Not bad for a guy who had never sat in this car, let alone driven it, until showing up here this weekend.
Well, we had him down to commentate. We were like, hey Ben, you're not doing it. No, I think coming up. No, we get the word 2 weeks later, he's in the car, but he couldn't resist it.
He did say at the press conference, he said the car felt like an old glove. Was he? Yeah, so he obviously got comfortable quick.
It's interesting though because he had so much success driving for Corvette racing the last couple of years, and now he's over the court.
He put us straight. He does have 30 dealerships, 3 of which are
Yes, there is a long family connection. I know it meant a lot to him to race the Ford GT at Le Mans, even if the final result might not look so great. We all know, those of us that watched that race, that on the road at least, they were the first ones to cross the line in class. But
that is a sore subject with him, isn't it?
Yes, you bring it up at your own peril. But yeah, Ben certainly proud to represent Blue Oval, given the family connection, because he's a second-generation car dealer, and the connection with Ford goes back quite a ways.
You may have noticed there's still that on board of the Aston Martin there too. Notice that big bump job at the exit of 1 going into 2. You know, the bump just before the bottom of the hill as they turn in right. It's been a big heavy bump there, but now the new route paving has sorted that.
Remember, they tried to shake it.
Yes, they did, yeah.
And it didn't quite work, but the repave.
You should know this. The repave is still in a whole bunch of angles to do this.
Engineering team from there that was specialized in asphalt from the Transportation Institute down there, I think.
They just told them that they were actually growing potatoes, so they said, do what you need.
It's not you, I got it.
Exactly.
I am not an
I was going to say, well, that's obvious.
All right, out of 15, a little bit of a wiggle on. Colin on a good lap.
Impressive stuff from James, United Auto Sports, in that McLaren. A team with so much success running an LMP2 in previous years, but LMP2 is gone from the World Endurance Championship outside of Le Mans this year, so they've looked up with McLaren folks.
work for children's heart research and surgeries. They've raised over $3 million. Talked to Alex Riberas about that, and you know, that's a little bit, that might be track limits.
Yes. And Malekith's out of it. Checkered flag is out, so he will not improve. That's the points leader. Will do no better than fourth. But you're right, part of racing for so many years hooked up with the Seattle Children's Hospital. It's a wonderful, wonderful program that they run. They're so busy running not just the World Endurance Championship, but in IMSA, in SRO GT4 as well here in the States, select GT3 races around the world. Fantastic program. Plus, they're testing the new hypercar as well. They'll run on behalf of Aston next year.
And, you know, that's a good fit for motorsport, isn't it? Charitable contribution from a team like that, because there is so much money in motorsport. And it's nice to see that that is part of the sport.
Well, Alex put it well when he said, look, you know, each and every weekend, win or lose, we're raising money. And he said, there's a sense that, you know, we're not just going around
And it
circles.
changes your perspective.
What can he do? We do have Tom Van Rompuy under investigation for possibly does not improve.
And it looks as though the Americans are on pole for the American race of the 2024 World Championship. The smile and the thumbs up. Yeah, that's great news. Great to see so many happy, smiling faces. And you know, well, again, you know, it wasn't for bad luck. They wouldn't have it, as the blues man say. Women driven by dreams. Now, what happened here?
out wide, that's for sure.
Is that Sarah Bowden?
Yes.
I didn't see what happened before that.
Here we go. We're on board with it here.
Almost looked like a failure. Like a loss of power or something.
Yeah. The one thing we will be looking at is I love it. As the venerable David Holt would say, picking up flag. But it will be a problem. We just spoke to Mark Haven. They were saying that the marbles on the outside will be a big factor, especially during the 6-hour race, because we all want rubber down, but a lot of that rubber marbles up and then becomes basically a problem. There is interchange pole position for the hard racing, and in a moment, I'm sure we'll hear from him. Hard racing team then with the 205.587 with the pole just 0.172 over Iron Banks. Then Vista, of course, Ferrari in third, then the Porsche in fourth for Mantype Racing, and further down TS Sport, Vista, of course, United Motorsports, D-Station Racing, Proton competition in ninth, and in 10th place, TWRT.
I got the keys. I never have to respect it.